Yes, people. As you guys would have seen, Dana White made some announcements the other day. He announced some interesting fights, some great fights coming up. The winter arc will be a very eventful one in terms of combat sports. Obviously, next week we've got Imavov versus Baralio. I'm still struggling to say his name. Still struggling to learn how to say his name. But yeah, as you guys can see here, we've got Imavov versus Baralio next week. Then after that, we've got Saint Denis versus Ruffy. These back. Oh, same night. Damn. Yeah, that's a banger of a card. I can't lie. I have looked at the card previously, and I do think that card is underappreciated. I do think the card is quite a very good stacked card for a fight night as well. This is going to be a banger. The main event is going to be a banger. And obviously here we got Patricio Pitbull versus Lucena Kieta. Oh, right, it's on the same night as well. That should be a good fight. Obviously, I've known about Kieta from before he fights in the Octagon promotion. So that should be an interesting fight. I'm quite intrigued to see how he does. Obviously, he's fighting Patricio Pitbull. So that's going to be an interesting fight. You know, obviously, I want to say, what I was gonna say is, can Kieta handle the level of the UFC? Because we've seen time and time again when these guys come over, they can't handle the level. But obviously, Patricio Pitbull, I can't really call him UFC level yet because he hasn't done so well. So, but that's gonna be an interesting fight, to be fair. And then after that, we have Diego Lopez versus Silva, UFC No Shade. That's going to be a banger of a fight. So, guys, I need to start making my prediction videos because time is going quick. We're at the end of August. So, I should really have my prediction videos ready. Then, hey, September is stacked, man. We got Olberg versus Reyes as well. That should be a good fight. I'm gonna skip through these because there's some fights that I really want to talk about. But as you guys can see, as I'm clicking through, we have a very, very stacked next couple of weeks, man. Guys, this is what I wasn't too happy about. Yeah, Jan Droba versus Mackenzie Dern. They're rematching each other. This will be for the World Strawweight Championship. And it is obviously because Zhang Weili has vacated her belt and she'll be going for the Flyweight Championship of the World against Shevchenko. But I know the UFC ain't doing the double champ stuff anymore, but this is my question. If there's anybody that actually deserves it out of everybody that has been trying to do that in recent years, would it not be Zhang Weili? Why wouldn't you want to have a women's double champ? The last person to do that was Amanda Nunes. We've had a few people do that in the men's UFC, so why not allow it to happen at least for a second time in the women's division? And if there's anyone that does deserve to have double champ status, it is Zhang Weili or Shevchenko. So I don't know why she's had to vacate her belt. I get it. Well, clearly they don't want to do double champ anymore, which I don't agree with it. I think it's better for the sport to be able to be a double champ. It makes that person more of a bigger star. It's easy. I feel like you can sell fights more. But I guess that's what the UFC is going for now. So no more double champs. Obviously, we got Volkov versus Almeida as well. These are all taking place at UFC 321. I think Volkov probably wins that one. And we obviously have Nurmagomedov versus Bautista. That's going to be a good fight, but I'll be real. I think Nurmagomedov is going to win that one if I'm completely honest. So, he's probably going to get back in the win column. And for UFC 322, the fight that everybody has been anticipating, which is Jack Della Maddalena versus Makachev for the welterweight championship of the world, is finally taking place on November 15th. Guys, that's a very interesting matchup. At this moment in time, I'm leaning more towards Jack. My only question is, how will he deal with the ground stuff from Islam Makhachev? On the other hand, I do believe Jack will do very, 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 very well on the feet. And I think he's being underestimated and under appreciated because Jack is a very good fighter, and I do think he's going to give Islam some problems standing up. Obviously, closer to the time, I'll give a breakdown. I might even do an early prediction because this is a banger of a fight. So, you know. And obviously, like I mentioned before, we've obviously got the flyweight championship of the world on the line as well, which is Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm a bit disappointed that Zhang Weili wasn't allowed to go for double champ because she deserves it out of everybody. She's been beating people for a while now. Yeah, so. And then this is the fight that I really wanted to talk about, guys. Because Leon Edwards is cooked. Leon Edwards is absolutely cooked. We have Leon Edwards versus Carlos Pratas. And I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie. Leon Edwards is cooked. He has way too much of a reserved fighting style, and Carlos Pratas likes to bring it. And I do see Carlos Pratas getting a finish, guys. I'm not gonna dive too deep into my predictions and what I think will happen. I'll give you guys that closer to the time. But if we're being completely honest, this is a must-win for Leon Edwards. If he doesn't win, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. And ain't it crazy that the last person he beat, the last person he knocked out went on a 3-fight losing streak as well. Obviously now he's back in the winning column, but that was Kamaru Usman, guys. And I don't know, man. I'm worried, man. I'm worried for Leon because this could actually. I'm not saying. You know what it is, guys. Leon has always had this fighting style, but I feel like once he became champion and he defended his belt the 2 times against Colby and Kamaru, I do feel like he lost a bit of hunger. And I don't think Leon Edwards will have that hunger ever again. Because you know when you're grinding years and years of in the trenches, putting in the work. And some people, once they finally get that belt, you know what? I'm going to compare it to like a McGregor. McGregor achieved everything he set out to achieve. So it's like you can't really get any better than that. You can't really top that. So it's like, what's next? Do you retire or do you continue fighting? Because you ain't gonna, like, realistically, even if Conor McGregor was to become a triple champ today, let's say he comes back, gets a belt in another division. The reality is, it's not going to be as big as when he became featherweight champion. It's not going to be as big as when he became double champion. It just won't. That you see, I feel like you can only get so high, and once you get so high, you can't go any higher than that. And I feel like that's what's happened to Leon Edwards. Don't get me wrong, there is guys that, they get to the top and they just keep constantly evolving. But unfortunately, not every fighter is going to be able to do that. It's like that with every sport. Some people, sometimes in life, yeah, your high is you're meant to reach a certain limit and that's it. For that moment in time, that's it. And that's just life. There's nothing wrong with that. And I do feel like this is something similar that's happened to Leon Edwards. Funny enough, they have the same, if I'm correct, from what I remember, they have the same management. So, Leon, I don't see him beating Carlos Pratas. And if I'm completely honest, the guys in the top 10 of that division are very difficult fights for Leon Edwards. You know what it is? It's his fighting style. He's just very clean, reserved. But you see with Leon Edwards, yeah, he's got a style where I believe if he fought with a bit more urgency, I do believe he could get finishes and win fights. But he backs up too much. He's too reserved. So I see Carlos Pratas getting a finish. However, for however long this fight lasts, it's going to be a very good fight. Look out for my predictions on all these fights. I'll be doing look out for my video for the UFC Fight Night in Paris taking place next week. My predictions will be out in a couple of days. Like and subscribe, guys.